It's game time, the 1993 AML Championship game between Ridgway and Smethport. It's a rebroadcast that aired initially on WLMI Kane.
Quick Stop Market, AML Championship game, quick fact.
This is the second time teams have met back-to-back in the game. Johnsonburg and Port met in the 86 and 87 games.
All right, back here in Ridgway. Bob out there still taping up the mic. Captains out on the field for Ridgway: Shane Williamson, Jamie Cobaugh, and Charlie Waldo. For the Hubs, looks like Jason Herzog and Jeff McGowan. So, going to be interesting to see what happens here, Bob, during the old kickoff, during the toss of the coin out there. Smethport, if they win in the past, they have deferred virtually every game I've ever seen them play in the last few years. They like to get their defense out on the field and get people hitting the start. And look for some kids tonight, some young kids, maybe a sophomore or a junior here that hasn't really played a lot. Look for them to maybe make a big play here tonight. For Ridgway, you got somebody like Dustin Marshall. For the Hubs, somebody like Joey Orlandi, maybe. And Smethport has won the flip, and they've deferred. And so Ridgway, let's see here. Okay, the Hubs is going to receive the kickoff.
Well, Elkers may have opted. We saw it happen before. A team opts to, hey, we'll give you the choice, too, in the second half. We're going to give you the kickoff twice. That apparently looks to be the situation here, if indeed Smethport deferred, as was the case. You remember last year, and that was a thing that I think kind of really broke the back of the Elkers. They held Smethport to virtually no yards offensively. Then the Hubbers opened the half with a big drive. They go up 2 scores, and that was pretty much lights out.
I think the Hubs only had something like 12, 16 yards offense in that first half, but Coffey had that punt return he busted for a touchdown.
Is that tough with the light off? Or
No,
do you
that's
like it
fine.
better?
That's a lot gooder.
As we get set for this one again, the Hubs in the visiting white jerseys, the orange helmets with the black S on those helmets. They got the white jerseys, the black numerals with the orange trim, the white pants, and they're plain white pants. The Elkers in the maroon home jerseys, the silverish pants with the maroon and white stripe, the white numerals. Elkers on the side of the maroon helmets with the white face mask. Shane Williamson set to kick it off. Williamson, an all-star indeed. The teams on Saturday, Smethport 1-0 this season on Saturday. The Ridgway Elkers 2-1, and we are set. It is Baker
and Carter deep for the Hubs.
As we get set and we are underway, a high kick. It'll be fielded by Carter at the 5. Slip, gets to the 10, 15, and Carter will be hurled back by 1, 2, 3, 4 maroon jerseys. Barry Morgan, Hubs will set up shop at around the 15, I think.
Yep, and big play there by the Elkers. Boy, they had a bunch of kids. Carter fortunate that his knee didn't touch back there at the 5 as he slipped a little bit. But it'll be Smethport's ball, 1st and 10 at their own 16-yard line.
Of course, the center is for the Smethport Hubbers, Mike Cooper. He has been a steady all season long. The quarterback, the sophomore, Ryan Woodruff. We'll get to the starters after this first down play. And it goes to Carter, and Carter for perhaps a couple up over the Ridgway.
Everybody's saying fumble, but I don't think so. It looks like he gets over the 16 up to about the 18-yard line.
That'll bring up second down. Up front for the Hubs, you do have Cooper at center. Justin Combs is the left guard. Clint Myers, the right guard. Chuck Bunning, the right tackle. Jeremy Anderson, the left tackle. Andy Rifle, an end. Brian Baker, an end. Woodruff, the quarterback. Carter, Robbie Cosper, and Jason Herzog in the backfield. Herzog, Carter, and Cosper back there on second down. It is Herzog in motion to the left. The pitch by Woodruff to Carter, and Carter nowhere, maybe a yard as the football nudges up near the 19. Going to bring up a third down play.
And watching Shane Williamson there, he's doing a little of the talking to Jason Carter.
Jason Carter, of course, rushed for over 900 yards on the season, scored 72 points for Carl's Hubs. 11 touchdowns, 3 two-pointers. The sophomore Cosper, 7 touchdowns and a two-pointer. And it is third down, Barry, our first third down play of the game.
Well, they're real big. Baker split wide to the right. He'll be manned there by Williamson.
It is third down and 6. And Woodruff gives it to Carter. The draw goes nowhere. Back to the 12 is Carter. And boy, the maroon-clad Elkers all over the place. And I'll tell you, Dave Corey put a tenacious rush on that time. Fourth down, the Hubs will punt. Now, Carl DeFilippe told us during the Football Focus program and in the interview you just heard that McGowan will punt, and Jeff is on. He's back at the 2-yard line. For the Elkers, it is Blessel back. And also, well, we'll see as the kick gets off. A short kick goes straight up and is going to hit at the 27-yard line. Go out at about the 28. So the Elkers will have the ball. We'll be back after this. Stadium, first down for the Elkers, and they go to Cobaugh. Jamie Cobaugh down around the 20.
Wow, nice run by Cobaugh inside the 20.
A 9-yard pickup.
Close, 19.
Yeah, close to a first down. Jamie Cobaugh, the fullback. Shane Williamson. We'll talk about him in a bit. Dustin Marshall back in the backfield, along with the quarterback senior Jason Plaster. Bill McDonald, the center. The guards, Neil Wright and Brian Miller. The tackles, Jesse Porter and Charlie Waldo. The ends, Scott Rekieski and Brad Benasuti. Second down and a short one for the Elkers. Inside the 20. Cobaugh has the first down around the 16-yard line. For Smethport, defensively, you have Jason Herzog, Chuck Bunning, Stanley Klein, Andy Rifle up front, Matt McKean, Robbie Cosper, Mike Cooper, Brian Baker as the linebackers. In your secondary, Jason Carter, Joey Orlandi, and Kurt Herzog.
The Hubs haven't been scored on in the first half all year. Ridgway knocking on the door. First and 10, ball about the 16.
Plaster now behind McDonald, and a flag comes in. Our first, the yellow flag of the evening. Snow swirling around, and it's going to be on the Elkers, and we'll get the preliminary indication down there, and it is going to be offside. Somebody lined up offside for the Ridgway Elkers.
Boy, that hurts. That's going to push them back to the 21. And those little things can really hurt you. 8:31 to go in the first quarter. No score, and Benasuti talking to some people down there, and I don't know who that guy is Benning was talking to, but I don't know why that guy's even down there.
Yeah, fan or what have you. It's now first and 15 for the Elkers back at the 21. A pitch, Williamson's first carry of the night, and Williamson will get down around the 15. A horde of jerseys, white jerseys down there, including number 40, Joey Orlandi.
We get to about the 18, Bob.
We talk about Shane Williamson and some outstanding numbers on the season, Barry Morgan.
Yeah, let's see here. 1,204 yards, 17 touchdowns, 4 field goals, 14 point afters. Good career.
Yes, indeed. It is second down now. We'll call it 10. He got the 5 back. Second and 10 from the Hubbard 16. 8:18 remaining first period. No score. Williamson in motion to the right. They go to Cobaugh. Finds a hole. Gets down around the 11. In on the stop for the Smethport Hubbards was Andy Rifle. And that'll bring up third down now for the Elkers. Shane Williamson topped the AML scoring-wise with 128 points. Carter was second with 72. Jeff Collins of Youngsville third with 62 points. Scott Whitty, Jerry Van Ort of Eisenhower, and Ryan Gooch finished with 60. Those games did include non-league games, and I'm starting to fog up the window.
Elkers ball on the 12, third and about 5.
And in motion is Williamson. To the right, Plaster gives it to Cobaugh. Nothing doing.
Clear back to the 16.
Charles, number 77, Chuck Bunning, puts him down, and it will bring up fourth down. And a lot of folks were talking about a potential field goal being the difference in this game. Well, let's let you know that Shane Williamson putting on the kicking shoe, Barry Morgan.
Boy, I'll tell you what, that was a huge stop by Bunning there. Because if you can hold them to even a field goal, you've gained something because they got the ball first and 10 at the 27.
And so now it'll be a field goal of 31 yards. The snap, the hold, the kick by Williamson. It is good. So Shane Williamson has the Elkers up 3-0, 6:52 remaining. We'll be back after this. And back here at Dutch Country Stadium, the Elkers set to kick off. Williamson's field goal gives them a 3-0 lead. And another strong kick by Williamson. Carter back to the 5, to the 10, the 15. Carter. And Carter hit the goal. 95 yards. He's at the 40. Nobody even close. I don't see no flags down. 95 yards. Jason Carter. Just like that, explodes all the way up the field. 95 yards, and the Hubs, just like that, takes the lead, 6-3, 6:24 remaining, and we never had the opportunity to say that on the season, Carter had 2 punt returns for touchdowns, a 73-yarder versus Sheffield, a 64-yarder versus Union, and statistically wise, whatever, that's the second kickoff return against the Hubs for a touchdown. Burton from Kane did it. 91 yards. Carter,
the Elkers.
Yeah, and that's the second one there as Carter goes 95 yards. Saw a break at the 20, Barry.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, he busted that thing so nice. It was a heck of a kick by Williamson.
Ridgway wants a
timeout.
timeout.
Take the timeout.
So we'll take another break. We'll be back after this. Excitement abounds here at the 8th AML Championship after the Williamson field goal of 31 yards. Jason Carter goes some 95 after a super kickoff by Williamson. And I'll tell you, Carter just saw a hole at the 20, and he was bye-bye, and the Hub's going to opt for the 2.
Sometimes, you expect to see a yellow flag when a kid breaks out wide open.
Right.
But no, and the Hubbards will go for 2.
And so the Hubs now, the 2-point conversion. Woodruff at quarterback, back to pass, looks, here comes the heat. Williamson, well, in high school, in college, Williamson would have just had 2 points. But in high school, it's not. It'll go as actually a fumble recovery. What have you? Williamson throws the ball over towards the Smethport sideline. We are going to stay here. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
You don't want to play
football. Well, that was the thing, though. It's like, here's your football. They're responsible for bringing them in for the Hub plays, and he gave them their ball back, and I like it.
Yeah. But that, too, can wake up a sleeping giant sometimes, just like a little bit of that whooping the first time Carter carried the ball. If you're going to whoop at somebody, then you better be able to stick them. And a lot of times you wake people up.
Boy, I'll tell you got to wonder, on that kickoff coverage for the Elkers, it was just, there was nobody from the 20-yard line on, his own 20-yard line on, there was nobody within 10 yards of him. Everybody basically outran the coverage. McGowan is going to kick it off, and McGowan gets the kick off, and it's going to be rolling around down at the 15-yard line, and it'll be picked up there and brought down around the 20-yard line is Jason Brigger, and so the Elkers now will put it in play 1st and 10.
Fortunate for the Hubs there that kick did not go out of bounds, otherwise Ridgway could have taken it out to the 35. But the ball just seemingly died. We're under 6:10 to go here. Ball at the 20. It's actually a little beyond the 20. See, that's weird. I don't know. It says 20 there, but I don't understand it.
We're at that odd angle. You know it all the time from hearing us here in St. Mary's. We'll call it around the 21. On 1st down, they give it to Marshall. And I think Marshall eked his way up to about the 27-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd down. Coach Benasuti of the Ridgway Elkers has to be saying, here we go again. Same thing. We shut them down offensively, and they return a kick on us. That was the case last year. Caldo Philippi has a career record of 113 wins, 18 losses, and 2 ties. He, of course, the Smethport mentor. Coach Benny Benasuti, a career mark of 30, 16, and 1.
So the ball at the 26.
2nd down, we'll call it a long 3, and another flag comes in. We'll see if, again, somebody lined up in that neutral zone. And that is going to, again, go against the Ridgway Elkers offside. And that is going to bring up now, instead of second down and short, that's going to bring up second and 9. Looks like Rekieski was called for the flag. And so second down and 9, that kind of takes your offense.
Those little things, they look insignificant, but they can hurt you, especially when you're playing a team with the playoff experience like Smethport has. And Bunning, you know he's coming now.
Oh, boy. Second down and 9. Plaster, I'm sure, has that somewhere in the back of his mind. On second and 9, they'll give it to Kobaugh.
And there's Charles right there.
A hole in the hump play. They have the football. We'll see what the refs do. Yes, they do. And coming up with it, they have been, and we'll try to get somebody down on the field to let us know. It may have been Cooper, however. Mike Cooper, 55, or Justin Combs might have been one of the Hubs that come up with the football. Nonetheless, it is Smithport's ball, and there's that first turnover we talked about. And the Hubs now have a first down inside the Elker 25, 4:40 remaining in the first period. It is 6-3 Smethport. And on first down, it's Carter, and Carter will get a few. Tell you, laying a vicious hit on there, number 56.
Baby.
For the Elkers, Neil Wright really put a licking on him there. It'll bring up second
Carter
down.
1 on there. It gets to about the 22.
Common opponents, well, Smethport and Ridgway both met Cameron County, both winners. Smethport hurrying up offensively here. Now second down and 9, they are set. And on second down, they give it to Herzog, and not much doing as he will get down around the 20, where it's going to bring up third down, and I'm thinking about 7. 3:55 remaining here in the first period. Jason Carter, a 95-yard kickoff return, and that is the first in AML history.
We're down to 3:40 to go in the first quarter, and Cooper coming up over the ball for the Hubs.
And so now it is third down and 8 for Smethport. 0-1 on third down. Carter in motion to the right. A flag comes in. Woodruff looks to pass, throws, it's complete. And he's down inside the 5. A flag did come in. This may be another offsides on the Elkers as the completion to Carter. And we'll see.
No, I think this one's against the Hubs.
So that'll wipe out a nifty gain. That'll get the crowd pumped up a tad. And so over on this side, the Hubbers over on our far side, it'll bring up now third down, and we're looking at 13.
And boy, that hurts because you had almost a score there. So Ridgway kind of staves them off, give them credit, but Smethport made that mistake. And those are things you can't make a lot of in a championship game.
All right, it is third down now, 13, and rifle to the right, or Dan Hartle to the right, rifle to the left. And back to pass is Woodruff. He goes to Carter, who was over there on the left, and that'll bring, it's a completion.
He gets down to about the 15.
Yeah, where it's going to bring up fourth down and about 3, I'm guesstimating. 2:54 remaining in the first period. The clock running. Going to bring up fourth down and 3. Shane Williamson opened the scoring tonight with a 31-yard field goal. Both teams also beat Countersport on the season. Both also beat Kane. Eisenhower defeated Ridgway 30-6, although Ridgway picked up a lot of yardage in that game. Smethport, of course, defeated Eisenhower 14-7 a few weeks back. Fourth down and 3. Herzog in motion to the left. And the pitch to Carter. Carter has running room. And Carter down around the
11. And that's the first down. It's got to be.
Yeah, they're moving the stick.
The ball's right. Looks like it's 11. It's got to be a first down.
It is a first down, say the referees. So a first down just outside the 10, I'm thinking. Are they going to set the chains up? Yes, they are. No, it's not a big, kind of a drizzly type snow, although the wind blowing briskly into the face of the Hubs right now. And they have a first and 10 from just inside the 11 with 1:58 remaining here in the first period. The sophomore Woodruff, the quarterback, and another flag comes in here. Well, I'll tell you, both teams just waiting to tee off on one another out there.
They're liking it. Charlie Waldo having a fun time in there. That'll move the ball back to the 15. or make it to 16. And that's the second penalty on the Hubs. Now, the Hubs not nearly as penalized as much during the year as the Elkers.
Right. In fact, Ridgway, as we take a look at the stats, Smethport penalized 23 times for 250 yards. Ridgway penalized 45 times for 349. A timeout on the field, and we'll be back after this. And back here at Dutch Country Stadium, we'll let you know this is WLMI Kane. We'll look to maybe get you some updates on that Eisenhower game.
We have some coming. Mr. John Moulton, the guy in the red hat. Well, he's going to be calling some in. I talked to him the other day on the phone, and he said he'd love to do that.
Sounds wonderful.
He'll be in touch with Mike somewhere.
And back here at Dutch Country Stadium in St. Mary's, Bob Parana and Barry Morgan with you. At the end of a period, 6-3, the Hubbers lead it. Shane Williamson, a 31-yard field goal for the Ridgway Elkers, and that was followed by a 95-yard kickoff return for a 6 by Jason Carter. The Elkers now faced with second down, and we'll call it 6. The snow kind of starting to frost the field a little bit, a light frosting of white on the field here. Plaster on second down goes to Williamson, trying the right side, and 4 Hubbers in on him. It's going to bring up third down and about 4 yards, maybe a couple there for Williamson. Rifle and Cooper defensively for the Smethport Hubbers.
That's Williamson's third carry, 3 carries for 12 yards, and I'm sure he averaged a little more than 4 per crack, but Cobaw's carried the ball 5 times here so far.
And it's
5 times for 19 yards.
And it's going to bring up third down now, and a 3, a short 3. Dustin Marshall wide to the right. It looks like Williamson, and it looks like Ridgway wants a timeout. We'll take one as well. We'll be back 6-3 Hubbard. And back here at Dutch Country Stadium, talking a little bit during the break, it looks like Smethport's defense has the Elkers a little bit out of rhythm, to say the least, Barry.
Well, it does. Ridgway's used 2 of their timeouts already here in the first half, and we still have 11 minutes and 18 seconds to go. But I'm sure Benesuti happy that Plaster called that timeout. He saw something he didn't recognize or didn't like and said, let's get some help, and that's what you're supposed to do.
It is third down now and 3 for the Elkers, and they go to Williamson, and Williamson looking for it. It's going to be real close to a first down.
Real easily. He's up to about the 32, and that's plenty.
And so the Elkers drive will stay alive, as they will mark it at 32. And as we said, the snow kind of thickened out there on the field.
Yep, and Ridgway with 2 first downs in the game. The Hubs with only 1, but the Hubs lead it on that electrifying kickoff return by Carter, 6-3. Shane Williamson, though, with a beautiful 31-yard field goal for the Elkers.
And, of course, Hubbard attempted a field goal off the crossbar. And so first and 10 now for Ridgway from the 32. Plaster to Williamson. And Williamson, trying to pick a hole, slides through up to the 36-yard line and slid through there untouched, actually. So you know he's struggling to find a hole out there. A lot of fans around here from all over the league. A couple Kane folks here I've seen, even big tall one roaming the sideline down there.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of them here tonight, and that's certainly nice to see. Good crowd on here, and I'll tell you what, for the weather, you know this is the championship game.
Yes, sir. 10 minutes remaining, 6-3 here in the first half. The Hubbers lead it. Blaster, and they go to Herzog on it for the Hubs. The Hubbers have the football at the 28-yard line. That is turnover number 2 for the Ridgway Elkers.
And a big break for the Hubs, but you know, you're only going to get so many of these a game, Bob, so you got to take advantage. You got to score. They have it first and 10 at the Ridgway 29.
That's right. The Hubbers picked up the fumble, unable to convert it last time, and here they go again, first and 10 at the 28-yard line. By the way, defensively for the Ridgway Elkers up front, Brad Benesuti, Dave Corey, Charlie Waldo, Jesse Porter, and Neil Wright. Cobaugh, Marshall, and Mike Miles, your linebackers. And another flag comes in.
Too much time, I believe.
Secondary for Ridgway, Shane Williamson, Rick Tripodi, and Joe Blessel. And that'll be the call, another 5-yard penalty on the Hubs. And again, not to emphasize it a whole lot, but that is a penalty that really, I just don't think you can afford to have there.
And that's the 5th penalty of the game. Ridgway with 2 for 10 yards, the Hubs with 3 penalties for a total of 15 yards.
You know, delay a game is just one of those things that drives you nuts as a
gotta.
coach. It's even worse than it in motion. At least the guy was doing
something.
Woodruff back to pass, drops back, throws, and caught by Rifle over the middle at the 25.
Nice catch by Rifle, 9-yard gain.
Rifle, looking like one of those big NFL tight ends, making the catch here, and it will bring up 2nd down and 6. So a 9-yard completion. Tell you, Woodruff, the 6'4" sophomore who was on the Hubbard varsity as a freshman last year, I like him as a quarterback. He is not
big.
Yeah, he's not what you're going to call an option quarterback. I don't know if they would ever change it to suit him, but he's a good straight drop.
Yeah, he is.
Shades of John Elway. Herzog in motion to the right on 2nd and 6. And again, back to pass. They go to the draw to Carter. A flag come in as Carter will get to the 23 and nearly broke out of there. But again, another flag over on the far side of the gridiron.
It's going to be interesting to see. It's against the Hubs, the way the Elkers are clapping.
Right.
That's always a good clue there.
High school football at its finest. It is sheer joy to be here tonight for this 8th AML championship, the 5th that we've done. And I think it gets better as we roll along.
Oh, it certainly does. You know, one thing, interestingly enough, tonight, Rob Cosper has not carried the ball. And he's averaging over 5 yards a crack, I think. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see what he's going to do here. That'll kick the ball back to the 30, where it'll make it 2nd and 11.
For the Smethport Hubbers on the clock, 8 minutes, 17 seconds remaining. Smethport leads it 6-3. And again, the scoring, a 31-yard field goal by Williamson after a short punt by McGowan. Then the electrifying kickoff return by Carter for the touchdown.
A little mix-up there by the Hubs. They're going to call a timeout. They had a couple guys coming on the field, so they'll burn their 2nd timeout. So both teams now have used 2.
And we will take a break. 6-3 Hubs. We'll have more after this. And back here at Dutch Guthrie Stadium, the Hubs talking things over a timeout. They'll be faced with a 2nd down and 11 from the Ridgway 31-yard line. A fumble recovery by Herzog has set them up. Last week in his first start against Port Allegheny, Woodruff 5 of 12, 112 yards. Real important. 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. Smethport only intercepted 1 time thus far in 1993. Carter in motion to the right. He's dangerous. And it's back to pass as Woodruff. And somebody got a hand on it as that was a dead duck. And boy, lucky not to have that intercepted by Neil Wright, but his arm hit as he went forward. That would sting a bit. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 11.
Yep, and a big defensive play there by the Elkers, because at least here, you keep them here, they're not within field goal range, and they almost, you know, I think in a situation like this, if they come up with 4th at the 30, they're almost forced to punt.
And he may just opt to do that. The Smethport offense really not going much of anywhere tonight. This is shades of last year, where a punt return was the difference at the half. Herzog in motion to the right. Again, Woodruff drops back. Here comes the heat. He throws, and it's incomplete. And right now, the Ridgway Elkers doing a super job putting pressure on the quarterback.
Gardner hit him real well that time.
Yep, number 63, Gardner, and also, Gardner and also Charlie Waldo in there.
So Smethport now 0 for 4 on 3rd down. They've tried 2 passes. One was completed, but not for enough. Carter ran the ball twice on 3rd down, didn't get enough to get the first down. So the Hubs 0 for 4 tonight on 3rd down. 7:50 to go before the half. The Hubs lead the Elkers 6-3, and Smethport going for it here on 4th down, Bob.
All right, the Hubs will go for it from the 30-yard line. In motion is Baker now to the right out of the backfield, and Woodruff pulled up too quick, and here comes another flag And the Ridgway assistant coaches down there really getting on the side judge. And that, again, is going to be a 5-yard penalty. And, boy, I'll tell you what, this has been quite sloppy, to say the least.
It sure has, but I think the cold has a lot to do with it, and nerves a little bit, too, because the majority of these kids in a big game for the first time, that's the 5th penalty now on the Hubs.
And that's one thing, too. I mean, you sit here and you try to convey that message to folks is these guys are not NFLers. They are high school kids, and kids will be kids. But after it happens so many times, I think the coach's hair turns very gray, yes.
McGowan in the punt. He'll be back about his own 48.
So McGowan, who did not get off a good boot last time, high snap, gets it, and kicks it straight up in the air. It's going to bounce around the... Well, it's going to die at the 17-yard line. The Elkers will put it in play, 1st and 10 from there. This is the 8th AML Championship. Glad to have you aboard here on WLMI. Steeler football tomorrow. Steelers and the Bengals will have at it. Well, how about some thoughts here? Looks like, again, a lot like last year, Barry Morgan.
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, game moving along quickly. Smethport winning the battle of field position here tonight. They've been fortunate, I think, but they have recovered a couple fumbles, and they've made their own break.
The Ridgway Elkers have turned the ball over twice. Williamson in motion and Plaster, and they go to Cobaugh. Not much doing there. Back to the line of scrimmage. That'll bring up 2nd down. And I have to find somewhere to throw a cough drop.
Give Cobaugh a yard gain on the play, bring up 2nd and 9. The ball at about the 19-yard line. And we've got under 7 minutes now, moving down on 6:50 to go in the first half. The Hubs lead it here at Dutch Country Stadium, 6-3.
Of course, the Ridgway Elkers winners last week over Johnsonburg, 22-7, to win the Allegheny Mountain League Western Division. The Rams finished at 6-3. And here it goes to Williamson, and Williamson over the 20 to about the 22. It's going to bring up 3rd down and about 6. The Rams, they finished their season at 6-3, 6-2 in the AML. And back to common opponents again. The Rams' common opponent, of course, Ridgway beat them 22-7. The Hubs defeated Johnsonburg 35-0. Sheffield, a common opponent, 53-0 for the Wolverines, 44-6 Ridgway over Sheffield. And the Kane game, 21-12. The Elkers were winners over the Wolves, 20-7 Smethport. Winners, Countersport Ridgway, 13-6. Smethport, 20-0 over County. 3rd down, Barry.
Yep, big play. They got to get some yardage here to keep Smethport from getting the ball back in good position.
Williamson looking for room on the left side. He's going to be shy of the 1st down to about the 25-yard line. It is going to bring up 4th down. And the Elkers now going to be forced to kick into the wind.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, and that wind blowing pretty strong in their face, and that can make it real tough.
Nasty conditions here for this AML game. Cold game. Remember that game back in Emporium? It was about 60 degrees that night.
Yeah.
That, by the way, was the earliest AML game ever played. That was played on a November 1st, this being now, what are we into now, November 6th here or whatever?
And boy, Ridgway lucky to get that 11th player on the field.
And back to kick for the Elkers is Neil Wright, and he fighting that wind as the kick, and Baker will field it at the 45, up to the 43. Gutsy, I like the move by Baker to field it.
Oh yeah, you got to grab them. Too many times you see kids in high school let that ball bounce, and it takes a bounce and goes another 10, 15 yards. And why give that up?
Right.
You got to have guts enough. That's why you're back there. Step up and catch the ball.
Yeah.
And Brian Baker did it. Hubs ball 1st and 10 at the Ridgway 43.
Shades of brother Andy, who always seemed to come up with a big kickoff return or a return for the Hubs a couple of years back. Here it is, 1st and 10 now for the Hubs. Another flag.
Looked like somebody jumped a little early.
And it's going to be on the Hubs
against
again.
the Hubs, yeah.
Another 5-yard penalty.
That's their 6th one tonight, Bob. 6 of them for a total of 30 yards. That'll move it back to the Ridgway 48.
6-3, the Smethport Hubbers lead this ball game. Williamson from Ridgway, a 31-yard field goal for the Elker points. Then Carter followed with a 95-yard touchdown kick return. That was just a fabulous play here. 4:20 remaining, 6-3 Hubs. And again, Barry, they started driving Elker territory only to be flagged.
Yep.
In motion is Herzog to the left on first down now. Woodruff pulls up, throws, it's complete to Rifle, first down.
Down inside the 35 to about the 32. Nice pass, 16-yard gain by Rifle.
As Woodruff just pulled up and boom, hits the side end, and it's a first down for the Smethport Hubbers. That's a Kevin Carter favorite there, I think. Carter, the coach of the
Well, it's a good play because it's virtually there all the time. All you have to do is take it.
Yes, indeed. As Hartle now will be wide right, Rifle, the tight end to the left. Prosper yet to carry the ball. He's in the backfield along with Carter and Herzog. It is Carter. Carter with a high corner, and he's going to have another first down inside the 20.
Down to the 19. Nice run by Carter. 13 yards. Another first down for the Hub.
So the Ridgway Elkers now defensively have been able to stifle things to a play, but right now Smethport with the edge. I tell you, that pass from Woodruff to Rifle seemed to fire everybody up a bit after that 5-yard penalty on the Hubs.
Under 3:30 to go in the first half. Hubs first and 10 at the Ridgway 19.
Baker to the left as a receiver. Do you go to the air on first down? We'll see as they try to give it to Herzog. Nothing doing as he may get to the line of scrimmage. Inside handoff didn't go. Kind of a counter play. Slow all going to the right. They handed it off to the left, and somebody filled that hole real quick, and you would have to almost guess that that would be on the left side of the Ridgway line, and we'd probably be looking at Dave Poirier, Brad Benasuti over there on the stop.
Actually, nothing gained or nothing lost on that play. Second and 10 from the 19.
As Cooper brings the Hubs up to the line. Second and 10. Prosper, Carter, Herzog in the backfield. Woodruff will give it to Carter. Carter inside the 20-15. Continues to cut inside the 10.
Down to about the 8. And Williamson and Dan Hartle exchanging some pleasantries down there. And the referee said, stop it. You don't need to talk about it. Let's just play. But they are going to measure. But a heck of a run by Carter.
Boy, just cutting. And he does an excellent job. Looks like a Dorset type runner.
Well,
that's it to a T, I think.
And it's unfair to compare him with him. But that's the only person you can compare with. First down Hub.
First and goal for the Smethport Hubbers. Now, the Hubbers had... earlier in the game, they had a first and 10 from just outside the Elker 10-yard line. Here, they have a first and goal now from the 8 on the clock. We have 2:26 remaining. And being this close, you'd probably not think those timeouts would have much of a factor here. You probably have enough time, but it could come down to that being a factor on a fourth down play. Here on first down, they go to Carter inside the 5, or down to it, where it'll bring up now the second down. The clock down to 2 minutes remaining now, with 6-3 being our score here. The Elkers looking for a defensive stance. Smethport now has a second and goal from the 5.
Boy, and going to be interesting to see what's called down here. Brian Baker brings the play in. Jason Herzog will run off the field.
And they're going to have to hurry to get a play off here. Woodruff, the sophomore quarterback who had to replace the injured McGowan in the game with Eisenhower. Second down, in motion is Baker to the left. And Woodruff again hit. That could be a free ball. Williamson has it. It's going to be a touchdown for the Elkers. 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, 10. Williamson will score the touchdown. And it is going to be a free ball. And we saw that play last year. It went against the Elkers. Here it's the sophomore quarterback, Woodruff. The ball's going to go as a lateral, a free ball, and it's a touchdown. Elkers lead it.
And that's a 94-yard return if you go from the line of scrimmage. So 94 yards. Give Williamson credit.
Yep,
I haven't seen that. It just took me so much time to
actually, the ball was back at about the 16-yard line.
So we'll give him 84.
Yeah, we'll make him an 84, and it's going to go. And that was the same play last year. Almost, it was up, of course, this way a little more. up near the 40, but it was a free ball. Williamson scooped it up and went the distance, and Williamson with 9 points has the Elkers out in front with 1:16 remaining, and that is the big play of the half at this point.
Wow, what a play by Williamson. I'm standing here
and
with my mouth.
No good, as Plaster had trouble with the snap. That could end up being a big factor, as a lot of people laying in the mud there. 9-6. We'll be back after this.
68 years of service and proud of it.
In the District 10 playoffs, Eisenhower is leading Linesville 6-0, 6 minutes into the first quarter.
All right, thank you very much, Mike Hinman. That's good news down here, as the Knights out in front, 6-0. 1:16 remaining here in the first half. The Elkers now set to kick off to the Hubbards. You think they're going to go to Carter?
I wouldn't. But sometimes it's hard. When you can kick the ball as hard as Williamson can. Or, let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like Plaster was almost going to kick it off, and he may be kicking it off. Here it is.
It's number 10.
Marshall with the kick, and it's going to be dropping around and fumbled, and then picked up on his butt goes the Hub return guy, who was Baker, at the 25-yard line. I think, Dustin Marshall kicked that off as Williamson now heads out onto the field. So the Williamson touchdown has now put in the Hubbards in a 3-point hole, as Ridgway leads it by a score of 9-6. A thrill a minute here.
That's the first touchdown the Hubs has given up all year in the first half.
Yeah.
And great play by Williamson. You got to give them all the credit in the world.
A defensive one. And here on 1st and 10 now, the Hubs, as they go to Cosper, his first carry of the evening, nets them a few up to the 30-yard line. Glad to have you aboard here on your choice for sports. 9-3, the Ridgway, or 9-6, the Ridgway Elkers lead the Smethport Hubbards. Coming up at the half, we'll be talking with Scott McGuire and some other folks here perhaps, and maybe we'll get an opportunity to get something to drink here.
Yeah, that would be nice. I'll fly.
All right.
After I do the big stat.
Getting a little dry here at St. Mary's. 14 seconds remaining in the half, and they are going to give it to, is it Prosper, who gets a first down up to the 38-yard line. But that'll do it, I think, for the first half, as we have played one half of football. And we'll see. Maybe they'll opt for one. No, we've played a half of football here in St. Mary's at Dutch Country Stadium. The AML West Division champion, Ridgway Elkers, lead the AML East Division champion, Smethport Hubbards, 9-6. And we'll be back after this. And back here at Dutch Country Stadium, getting set for the second half. The band out there on the field. They opted to let the bands go out there on the field. It's a bit sloppy now, but the important thing here, the fact that the Ridgway Elkers lead the Smethport Hubbards by a score of 9-6. Let's turn you over to Barry for the statistics.
Okay, first of all, for the Hubbards, they have 5 first downs. They've also been guilty tonight of 6 penalties, 5 yards of track, and those things really hurt every time they've had good field position. Their second, third, and fourth possession started at the Ridgway 23, the Ridgway 24, and the Ridgway 43. So they've been right there, but the penalties have hurt them. On the ground, Smethport, 13 rushes for 54 yards. Jason Carter with 8 for 43. Cosper had the last 2 carries before the half. His only carries give him 2 for 13. Through the air, Ryan Woodruff, 3 of 6 for 36 yards. So give the Hubs 90 yards in offense in the first half. They scored with 6:24 to go in the first quarter. After the Williamson field goal, Jason Carter runs the kickoff back 95 yards for the score. The attempt at the extra points were no good. Hubs led 6-3 at the time. For the Ridgway Elkers offensively, only 2 first downs tonight, 13 rushes for 46 yards, so that's very, very even. Shane Williamson with 7 carries for 27 yards. Ridgway has not attempted a pass yet, so they have 46 yards in offense in the first half, but a big field goal by Shane Williamson of 31 yards halfway through the first quarter made it 3-0. Then the Hubs driving again. They're down on the 6-yard line, and Williamson practically takes the ball out of Woodruff's hands and goes some 84 yards with 1:16 to go before the half. The kick was no good, but the Elkers have the lead, 9-6. They've only been penalized twice. However, they do have those 2 turnovers that really haven't hurt them. Fumbles. The Hubs couldn't take advantage of them, Bob.
Yep, indeed. In football, a game of inches. When you look at the fact that Joey Orlandi tried a 26-yard field goal, and that field goal just bounced off the crossbeam. No good. So we stand here at the half by a score of 9-6. We're going to get some comments from Scott McGuire, but we're going to take a 60-second break. Mike will fill the folks in with another quick fact, and we'll be back at the half. The Elkers out in front by a count of 9-6.
Quick Stop Market, AML Championship Game Quick Fact.
Smethport's 22-0 win over Ridgway last year is the only title game shutout.
And also, we have a score coming from the Eisenhower District 10 game. Lionsville scored. It's now 8-6. Lionsville with 11 minutes remaining in the second half.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike, back at Studio B. So the Knights now trailing their game. Here the Hubbers trail the Ridgway Elkers by a score of 9-6. And Scott McGuire's been down on the sideline. What's it like down there?
Cold, first of all, Bob. But hard-hitting game. Boy, they are really popping each other on a cold night. A lot of hard hitting going on out there. John Allen bringing refreshments here, but a hard-hitting game really is. They're really popping each other, Bob.
You take a look now at the first half and things that are uncustomary, what's the word here? I got a cough drop here, folks, but uncharacteristic of the Hubs is the fact that they weren't able to turn 2 opponent turnovers into anything, although they almost did get the field goal. But really, them penalties are hurting them 5 yards here and there.
Sure, Bob, they're killing them. I think Smethport started every drive 1st and 15, and that's really uncharacteristic of Smethport. And they're just the little fundamental penalties. One time they got called for, didn't have enough men in line of scrimmage because the split end was off the line. They had a man in motion turn upfield too quick one time, and those mistakes are just something you don't expect from a Carter Philippi team, and I'm sure they heard about it in the locker room at halftime. But you can't start every drive, especially when you're deep in the other team's territory, and then you're starting 1st and 15. You put yourself in a deficit right there.
Let's talk about the Elkers now. Some hard hitting, and Shane Williamson in alert play. Kind of similar to the one last year a little bit, where Corey Thomas came up with a fumble on a live ball, but Williamson opted to pick it up. There was nobody there, and he went the distance.
Yeah, that's amazing, Bob, that, they've really shut him down as far as running the ball, but the kid's such a great athlete that his foot came into play tonight with a big field goal. He really blasted that, and then he comes up with a big defensive play. He's that type of player. You shut him down one way, and he hurts you another. He's a great player, probably maybe the best all-around player in the Big 30.
And we had talked about the fact he scored all these different touchdowns. He scored them on the ground. He scored them through the air. He's kicked extra points, kicked field goals. That's his first defensive touchdown. You knew it was going to come sometime, unfortunately, for the Hubs here in the title game.
Yeah, and I think it's just one of those cases where maybe the inexperience hurt Ryan Woodruff there a little bit. He's a sophomore, and maybe in a senior in that situation, he throws it away or eats it or something. But it just happened. He got hit, and it's just one of those things. And Ridgway definitely will take it. I think the Hubs, if you look at it overall, dominated field position and probably moved the ball a little bit better. But the only stat that matters is the one in the scoreboard, and the Elkers lead right now.
Keys to the second half is one of the keys, I think, is the team that really takes the best measures at halftime to prepare for that second half as far as getting kids warm and whatever.
Yeah, you make a good point, Bob. That's the toughest thing on a night like tonight. You're out there, you're all warm, but, it's a cold night, but you get into the heat of the game, then you go into a warm locker room and come back out here, and, sometimes you have the early turnovers to start the second half, so we'll have to wait and see. But this first possession is going to be a big one. We're not really sure who won the toss and who deferred. We were talking about it, but whoever gets the ball to start this second half, it's going to be an important possession for either team. I think the first possession is going to be the real key.
Yeah, and it seems, I do believe what happened was the Hubbers deferred the choice, and the Elkers decided, hey, we'll kick it. I think Coach Benasuti, looking back, didn't want any similarities to last year's game, even if it meant to do that. Things that happened last year, they tried to go long in the very first play, nothing. The Hubs eventually but the thing that killed Ridgway last year was Smethport opened the second half of the football, drove the big long march, and they were up 2 scores. And maybe he just opted, I don't want to see that scenario, although they'll perhaps be getting the football again here.
Yeah, we're not really sure how that's going to work, but you hit it right in the button there. That's that's Carl DeFilippi and Smethport Hubbard football. You know, they move the ball, eat up that clock, and their first drive of the second half is, you know, in the past always been their big one, the one that's really changed momentum and turned games around. And hopefully for Smethport tonight, that's going to be the case. Obviously, Ridgway would like to drive it down in their first possession. I think, you know, if the Elkers get on the scoreboard first in this half, it could be tough for the Hubbards to come back with a sophomore quarterback.
What are you hearing down there? Guys jawing at one another down there on the field?
Yeah, I don't think there's any love lost between the two squads, Bob. We'll just leave it at that. But it's been a hard-hitting game. It's, you know, considering the cold night, and it's really been a great high school football game. They're popping each other pretty good.
All right. Well, Scott, we appreciate the comments. Looking forward to maybe some insight. Feel free to jump up any time of the game if you figure something out that we don't have up here. And if you have some fun tonight out there in the parking lot with discs.
Yeah, that was a good time. A little bit chilly, but we had fun out there. And after a few technical problems that were not of our own doing.
That's right. We're going to let the folks know that Paul Costa, that's spelled C-O-S-T-A with one kick of the equipment, and the other one we're going to credit Martin Tobias with that one. But all things aside, went pretty smooth.
Yeah, it did. We had a good time out there, Bob, and we appreciate it. So thanks for having me.
All right, Scott McGuire, and here the score at the half, it is 9-6. We will take a 90-second break, give you another quick fact, and we'll be back at the half. Elkers out in front by a score of 9-6.
Quick Stop Market, AML Championship Game, Quick Fact.
2 games have been rematches from the regular season. The 1989 Smethport-Johnsonburg game and the 91 Smethport-Elk County contest.
And back here at Dutch Country Stadium in St. Mary's, the Hubbards trailing the Ridgway Elkers by a score of 9-6. And if you're a Ridgway fan, the Elkers leading the Hubbards by a score of 9-6. We'll fill it in both ways. And, well, you know, the folks, you gotta say what you gotta say here from a lot of folks saying, what are they doing passing the ball down there at the 5-yard line? But I gotta tell you, I gotta go with what Carl says. He's the head coach, and obviously he knows a little more than I think some folks might think they know or whatever. But, hey, what the heck? That's part of the ball game.
And you're going for the win, and that's what you want to do. You know, but give Shane Williamson all the credit in the world, because he had to get that ball and go. I mean, they just didn't hand it to him, and he went on a little plane down the field. He had to take the ball and run with it. He did that.
Yeah, and I think, you know, fans, when they do that, they say, why this? Well, it's the worst thing that possible. That's the worst thing that ever could happen. And if you're going to coach, you can't coach with the worst thing that can happen in the back of your mind. I just don't think if you give thought to the worst thing that can happen, then you probably shouldn't be coaching. To tell you the truth.
And I'll tell you what, it seems to me that Smethport's offense is moving the ball. Now, they're not scoring when they've got good field position, but they are moving it. I look for Cosper to maybe get a few more whacks at him this time. That's going to make Carter look even quicker. Ridgway offensively has had a tough time with the Hubs. And because of Shane Williamson, this game is 9-6 at the half. Now, I know he has a lot of help. On those field goals, you got to credit the kids snapping the ball, the people blocking, the holder, and Williamson. You know, that's got to be something absolutely perfect in order to go. So that's a team 3 points there, and they're playing not bad defense. They've held the Hubs to only 90 yards in the first half. But if you had to critique both of them offensively, it seems like Smethport may be a little quicker offensively here tonight, but Ridgway leads, and that's the most important stat of all.
Yeah. Woodruff has seemed to have had a little bit of problem a couple times with a pitch. He fumbled the ball at one time and was able to jump on it himself, and just never had a chance on the Williamson recovery. Now, the scenario is this, and me and Scott were talking, but the Ridgway Elkers did get the choice. The Hubbards allowed the Elkers to get the choice. Otherwise, Smethport would have been kicking off, I would have thought. And the Elkers chose to kick the ball off is what happened, unless Carl went out of his mode and decided to return it. But I think the Hubbards deferred, and the Elkers decided to kick it. So the Hubbards are going to get the football to start the second half. And I think, again, it's the Coach Benasuti's philosophy perhaps might be the fact that, hey, we'll give them the ball to start the second half. If we stop them, this game is ours. We're going to take a 30-second break, and we're going to be back with the second half. And let's throw in a quick fact as well, Mike, at the half, 9-6 Elkers. We're getting set for the second.
Quick Quick Stop Market AML Championship Game Quick Fact.
This is the 5th game to be played on a Saturday. Friday games were played in 1988, 89, and 90.
And back here at Dutch Country Stadium, we get set for the second half. The captain's heading out there for Ridgway. That includes Waldo, Williamson, and Cobaugh, and Herzog and Jeff McGowan for the Smethport Hubbards. And my little brother David also wanted me to throw in the quick fact that he was the first player in AML championship history to drink a cup of Gatorade as he roamed the sidelines. So we'll give him credit for that. He averaged, in his playing career, he told me he averaged 4.3 a quarter. So that's not bad. Not bad.
And we'll remind you, too, that coming up at the conclusion of the game, we'll have for you the Pat Hughes State Farm post-game show. That's Pat Hughes, your State Farm agent, over in Smethport for all your life, car, auto. Make it State Farm. Like a good neighbor, that guy's always there.
Yes, indeed. The Elkers are going to be receiving the football, so we're going to have to figure it out this way, that it was Ridgway that deferred, and Carl said, we'll take the football then if there was a defer there. Otherwise, as we said, that would have been out of the Smethport mode of deferring, but that's something for later that we'll be talking about. But the Elkers are going to receive the football. Blessel is back. And also for the Ridgway Elkers, Jason Brigger. 9-6. The Elkers lead it. Jeff McGowan get up here. Smethport Hubbards in the away whites. The Elkers in the home maroons. And in those uniforms, the Hubbards this year 5-0. The Elkers at home this season, where they wore those jerseys, were 4-0. Fun facts to know and tell. As we get set for the second half, we are underway. And it'll be Brigger at the 20, 25. At the 35. And who has it? It looks like Herzog, but Cooper. Mike Cooper with the fumble recovery. And the Hubs have the football first and 10. And there's your worst case scenario for the Ridgway Elkers. Third turnover of the ball game. The Hubs set up shop first and 10 from the 35, quickly out of the huddle as we are underway here in the second half, so the Hubs will start the half offensively. And on first down, Woodruff, they go to Carter, and Carter on his first carry for 5-6 yards.
Gets down to the 30.
And Mick Cooper has done that throughout the season. On special teams, you got a guy like Cooper, Mike Cooper, who starts both ways, and that's the thing about the Smethport Hubbards. You got two-way starters that are there on special teams, and Cooper makes the big play that sets the Hubs up. Second down and 5 now from the 30-yard line of Ridgway. 11-10 remaining third period. 9-6, Elkers lead it. Woodruff to Carter again, and Carter thrown back by Waldo, but he gets to about the 30. Nice play by Waldo. Waldo there, Dustin Marshall as well. Marshall with a fumble return for a touchdown for the Elkers. The Williamson return of the fumble was the second defensive score for the Elkers on the season. And that's the difference in the game right now. Nobody has converted a third down tonight. The Hubs 0 for 4 in the first half. This will be their 5th crack. Baker wide to the right, in the slot to the right is Herzog. And Woodruff pitches it to Carter. Carter will slip one tackle, but it's going to bring up fourth down inside the 30. And that actually nothing. Let's call it 4th and 4. And I think we will see the Hubs perhaps go for it here. 10:08 remaining here in the third period. And this is a big, big play. Cooper leads his line mates up to the line. And up front there for Smethport, Justin Combs, Jeremy Anderson bunting up there. And on fourth down, Woodruff back to pass. Look, throws, and it's too high. It's going to be Ridgway's ball. They'll take over on downs at their own 30-yard line. Nice ball fake there by Woodruff, but didn't get the pass completed. So the Hubs now 1 of 2 on fourth down. More importantly for the Elkers, they'll get the ball first and 10 at their own 30. Wind picking up. It blew our door open. I'll get that.
down to 9:43 to go in the third quarter. The Elkers from Ridgway leading the Smethport Hubbers 9-6.
Fans just out there shaking off the bitter cold. 9:43 remaining. Here comes the Elkers now on first down. It's Williamson trying their left side. Breaks one would-be tackler, or Landy, and someone else run him out at around the 39-yard line, 40-yard line.
And that's about a 10-yard gain, so that's going to be real close to a first down. It'll depend on the spot.
And that is going to bring it. Yeah, it's a first down to the 40, so Williamson with the run.
10 yards for Shane. Give him 37 in the game. That's Ridgway's third first down.
And again now, the Ridgway Elkers turned over the ball 3 times. Smethport unable to convert yet on the turnovers. Smethport's fumble resulted in an Elker TD. That's the difference. Williamson on first down, and he gets about 4 more yards, 4 or 5, up to the 44-yard line, we'll call it. Cooper again in on the stop for the Hubbers. It is going to bring up second down and 6. Benny Benasuti, the head coach of the Ridgway Elkers, and he was a graduate of Indiana High School, and he attended IUP. Carl DeFilippi, a graduate of Leechburg High, and attended the University of New Hampshire, where some of our area players have had a chance to play collegiately. The wind a factor here. Now at Ridgway's back on second down. Give us to Williamson trying the left side, and he'll be brought down close to the 50. Yes, he is.
They put shoulder to him and everything, and he just lowered his and jumped ahead, and that's got to be another first down real close. He's right at the 50.
And it's going to bring up 3rd and a yard, we'll call it technically, shorter than that. And so they're going to have a measurement. I think they have to bring the sticks all the way over to this side of the field. This is your choice for sports. WLMI Kane, Bob Parana, Barry Morgan aboard with you here from Dutch Country Stadium. The Ridgway Elkers leading the Smethport Hubbers by a score of 9-6 with 8:34 remaining in the third period. And it is going to be, I think, just shy of the first down.
It is so close. It's like an inch short.
And so it'll bring up third down now, and we'll see what the Elkers opt to do here. We saw Plaster pick up a couple short yardage first down.
We're down to 8:34 to go in the third quarter here, and Ridgway moving the ball pretty well here in their initial possession.
And so the factor, I think right now that favors the Elkers is they've been able to dodge the bullet 3 times. 3 times they turned it over, and Smethport not able to take advantage. Both times in Ridgway territory. So it is 3rd and less than a yard. Looked like somebody moved. No flag. Plaster, I think, pushed himself forward, and we'll see.
He had to get it in that spot.
Boy, that was a real quick count there. Good job by Plaster. And it's a first down just over the 50-yard line.
So that's the first third down of the night completed by either team.
Yep, and that's ball control offense there. Boy, you like to get to that first down sometime on third down. When you have that 3rd and short, you're not only eating the clock, but here on Williamson's carry, he'll bounce off one tackler, then he'll be swarmed. And Cooper there, and also for the Smethport Hubbers, Kurt Herzog in on the stop. And Cosper also will get credit for the tackle. It'll bring up now 2nd down and 9. Well, again, recapping the scoring. Williamson, a 31-yard field goal. Jason Carter, a 95-yard kick return. And Williamson, about an 84-yard return of a fumble for 6. And that is the score, 9-6. 2nd and 9. The Hubbard crowd over on the far side chanting for their defense. And the Hubs got it again. And with it is Charles. The big guy, that's the 4th turnover for the Elkers. Third, Charles Bunting. Chuck Bunting, the senior, who goes 6'2", 251 pounds, pounced is on the loose football. And so the Hubbards again have the opportunity. The fourth Ridgway turnover, 1 for the Hubs. And the Hubbards will take over 1st and 10 at the 50-yard line. And it looks like a new snapper for the Smethport Hubbards. I think Randy Isidore or else fumble. Shannon Yeager is the new center, and Ridgway will have the football. And the new center in for the Smethport Hubbards was Yeager. Number 50, Shannon Yeager. Unless.
So, Ridgway, I'll tell you what. They fumbled 4 times, but it hasn't hurt them yet.
I'm looking for Cooper, and I don't see him out on the field, and that is a big, big play there as they had to bring Yeager in, and the snap fumbled right as he come in. Wow, it's Ridgway's ball, 1st and 10 from the 50 now, and a flag comes in. Do you see a 55 out there?
No, I don't.
And so,
that's against the Elkers.
That'll be marched off 5 yards. And so, it's going to bring up 1st and 15. I looked, and I saw an awful white jersey out there coming up to snap the football, and it was Shannon Yeager, and, they fumbled it away on 1st down.
The coach is working on somebody over there. I don't know.
That would, I see that. Looks like a problem with a headgear or something. 5:43 remaining. 1st and 15 now for the Elkers at their own 45. Here's Williamson for a swarm of Hubbards. Defensively, Stanley Klein, one of them there. It'll bring up 2nd down and 13. Well, how many times do you see that? A freak thing happens or whatever, and hey, on a cold night like this, you haven't been snapping the football. That's a tough task for Yeager, who is a senior. 5'5", 162.
Very tough. We're down to about 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Elkers still lead the Hubs 9-6.
And you can hear that wind on our crowd mic out there. It is 2nd down and 12. In motion, Williamson. And Plaster, they go to Cobaugh. Nothing doing, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and 11. Marshall had the football. And so it'll bring up now the 3rd down and, we'll call it 10. And so, still looking for a 55 out there. And there's somebody over on the sideline, and that is Cooper, because, as we said, he was replaced at center.
Ridgway hasn't put the ball up yet all night. And Williamson's great going one-on-one. He's in a slot here to the left. Orlando will pick him up.
And so now the Hubbards having to make some changes. Williamson in motion to the right. A little bit of confusion. Plaster back to pass. Rolling. Here comes the heat. He slips one would-be tackler. Throws it upfield. Williamson has a touchdown!
What a grab there by Williamson. 51 yards. Touchdown Elkers.
And you call it. Williamson up the sideline. A bit of confusion in the secondary. And he has the touchdown. And that is a biggie. Putting them up now 15-6. And Williamson kind of slowly walked into the end zone. He was tackled right into the end zone. And is somebody injured down there?
I don't know. It's hard to
tell. Yeah, there's somebody down in the end zone. And do you see Williamson out there? That might be Williamson injured in the end zone. Shane Williamson kind of walked it into the end zone, and he was tackled right there.
What a grab he made, though, and give Plaster credit because Jason waited for him to come open, and boy, he just drilled him. Nice pass by Plaster, great job of avoiding the defense, and they really stung the Hubs that time.
Well, you could almost feel it, as you had said, they had yet to pass the football.
Yeah, you could see it coming.
And we saw that play against Kane and against Johnsonburg.
And the Hubs looked a little bit confused.
Who is it injured? I think it's Williamson down there.
I haven't seen him up. So
Shane Williamson, I think, injured on the touchdown play. If indeed that's him, I don't see a 19 out there. Mick Cooper was injured for the Hubbards. He hasn't been out there yet.
So the Hubs is in a position now where they have to score twice. It'll be interesting to see on this extra point if it's Shane that is hurt. Because if you go for one, a touchdown and a kick and a field goal will tie you. Mm-hmm. But if you go for 2, then you're up, 17.
Yeah, you're up 11. And of course, they would play overtime here in this game because the winner moves on to play Clarion Limestone, and it is Williamson, I think. Injured down there in the end zone. I think we should maybe take a 30-second break here.
Yeah,
let's get that in. We'll take a 30-second break, Mike. We'll be back. The Elkers lead it 15-6.
In Smethport.
And back here at Dutch Country Stadium in St. Mary's, it is Williamson being helped off the field by Coach Benasuti and another Elker. And Shane just kind of halted as he made his last step into the end zone. And he was tackled right there. The Smethport player just doing what he had to make the stop. And Williamson hurt.
Looks like his left leg.
As Shane, well, it's a big touchdown. That's the big important
thing. That's what counts. And they're
at
up.
This point, Williamson now kind of walking on his own power gingerly, but he is out for the moment. 15-6, 4:10 remaining. Elkers going for 2. This is big.
Yes, it is.
And they're shifting all kind of people. Plaster at quarterback. And so, here we go. Plaster looks, throws, and it's incomplete. A flag did come in.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them.
And we're thinking it's going to be against the Elkers. Yeah. And it'll be declined. So, we are going to have a kickoff. And let's take a 30-second break. We'll be back. Elkers lead at 15-6. And back here at Dutch Country Stadium, the Elkers getting set to kick off. I think we're going to see some more scoring before this is said and done.
Yeah, I believe so. And you got to believe they're going to kick the ball away from Carter, if it's possible. But the Elkers lead by 9, and 15-6, 4:10 to go.
And Williamson, where's he at? He's up on his own power, I think, walking around somewhere. Dustin Marshall will kick the football off. And back deep is Carter, back at the 10-yard line. Baker also at the 10, and here comes the kick, and it's going to be Baker who picks it up, and Baker to the 15, slips, gets up, 20, and Baker gets up to the 27-yard line. First
nice return
for the Hubbards from there. Well, the scenario is this. The Ridgway Elkers have turned the ball over 4 times and have not given up a point on those turnovers. The Smethport Hubbards have given up the football twice. One led directly to a touchdown. The second led to that 51-yard bomb there from Plaster to Williamson that has the Elkers up 15-6.
And real important, I think, for the Hubs, they got to come away with a score here because you're asking for it. Williamson is actually running around down there. The kid's like Superman, and you can bet he's going to come back. Might be a chance here where you kind of pick on his replacement. If you're going to put the ball up at all. But Smethport just has to get the ball in the end zone, and that Ridgway defense is going to try and stop him right here.
So, a big touchdown reception. Williamson from Plaster has the Elkers up by 9. Carter on first down looking for some running room and runs about 10 yards to pick up a couple. Going to bring up second down. The snow continues, and the Hubbards will have the wind at their back in the 4th period. They trail again by a score of 15-6, and Shane Williamson with all 15 points here for the Ridgway Elkers, and it's been all Williamson the last couple of weeks.
The kid's tough.
Cooper back in at center. Boy, that was big play.
Williamson back in the ballgame, it looks like.
Yep. And so it is second down and 7 for Smethport. It is Carter. Standing on his feet. Carter breaks in. He's gone. Touchdown, Smethport. A game of 31 yards.
Jason Carter, touchdown Hub. They're down. Boom.
A game of big plays. I tell you, this is by far the most exciting AML championship to date. The score now, 15-12. Carter's second touchdown. What was it?
71 yards.
Hello.
And it seemed like he stood still for a half an hour there, and then boom, he's gone. That kid's money. 15-12, 2:55 to go, third quarter.
Big extra point here. This could mean that a field goal could eventually win it for you if you can get it. Herzog to hold. Snap. Hold. Kick by Orlandi, and it is good. And the Hubbards bounce back. 15-13. Ridgway leads it. We'll be back after this. Back here at Dutch Country Stadium in St. Mary's. What a ball game. We are enjoying the score now, 15-13. The Hubbards trailing the Elkers. The big 71-yard run by Carter. And there's a kick into the ground by McGowan, bouncing around. It is picked up by the Elkers. And with the football now for Ridgway, bringing it up to the 40-yard line, was Brad Benasuti, who will get up to about the 39 or 40-yard line. 40-yard line.
The old Hubs is going right after that ball, and Benasuti did well to hang on to that thing, believe me, because when they're going after the ball, you got to be strong to hold it there. 1st and 10 Ridgway at their own 40.
2:42 and counting here in the third period. The Elkers lead it by a score of 15-13. What an exciting ball game in the snow.
I'll tell you, Carter and Williamson, two of the best I've seen in a long, long time.
Both with a couple touchdowns here this evening. A Williamson field goal the difference, and a Landy field goal went off the crossbar. And on first down, not much doing. Was it Williamson for a yard?
Looks like it. Shane for a yard.
Shane, who was slow in getting up after the touchdown, and he kind of hesitated going into the end zone. I'm not saying he was whooping it, but he kind of, whatever. And he was tackled from behind, but he is healthy now and picked up a yard.
He's got his normal 15 points on the night. That's one over his average of 14. So when you can do that consistently all year, you're one heck of a football player. And that kid deserves, if he ain't the player of the year in the Big 30, I don't know who is.
1:40 remaining here in the third period. Elkers lead it 15-13. In motion, Dustin Marshall. And a flag comes in, and we might have somebody lined up. Yes, sir, Ridgway is going to be guilty. It looked like that's a delay of game. I think could have maybe had your pick on that one. Just something didn't look right, and it's going to bring up now 2nd down and 15 for the Elkers.
Fourth penalty on the Elkers for 20 yards. The Hubs saddled with 6 for 30 yards. Every penalty tonight's been a 5-yarder, so it's been a pretty clean ball game. I don't know if some of this is nervous tension or whatever, but by the time the second half rolls around, you shouldn't be doing it.
You got to get it out of your system there. It is now 1st and 15. 2nd and 15, right. Williamson carried on first down. On 2nd down, Plaster back to pass, looks, has a man, overshot him. And for a moment, open was Scott Rakieski, and Scott unable to come up with it. He was overshot there by the quarterback. Plaster brings up 3rd down and 15. The clock stopped, 1:03 remaining in the third period.
Boy, and that a big play because he was wide open.
Yes, he was.
But I'll tell you what, any kid that can catch the ball tonight is a hero because it is cold. I mean, there's no other way you can say it. If you can hang on to that ball, you're a heck of a man.
And so the Hubbards will have the win going into the fourth period. The wind will be at their back, down to 1:03 here. 3rd down, and Ridgway has to call a timeout. We'll take one, 2, 15-13. Elkers lead at 1:03. Third period. We'll be back after this.
Start your holiday shopping today and start at the Temple Pharmacy, your family pharmacy for over 100 years.
And back here at Dutch Country Stadium, the Smethport Hubbards and Elkers having at it. Elkers lead it by a score of 15-13, and they are faced with a 3rd down and, a long 15. It's cold, the snow blowing. Wow, this is it, boy. What a ball game. 15-13. We have a whole quarter to go. We still have 1:03 left here in the third. 3rd and 15, we'll call it for the Elkers. Plaster, another flag comes in, and it's going to be on the Elkers again. Another 5-yard penalty.
Well, I'll tell you, and they have Smethport confused defensively because they're trying to switch things around in the procedure.
Yeah.
And Smethport is having a hard time figuring that out.
Yeah, it looks like, unless they're the ones opting to do some stunts or what have you. But tell you, Kurt Herzog with big shoes to fill out there. He's filled in for Jeff McGowan. And Herzog, that's a tough spot to be in sometimes here in the championship
what do you
game.
think
Herzog
going through McGowan's head?
Oh, boy.
It's got to be tough.
Yeah, it does.
But it's 3rd and about 20. The ball at 31, the Ridgway 31.
Listen to this crowd here. 45 seconds to go in the third period. Back to pass is Plaster. Here comes the heat. He slips into the field. And it's going to be caught. At the 50-yard line, 40-yard line, it's a catch. The Hubs went for the interception, and making the catch for the Elkers was Scott Rakowski. The big catch of the game there as he's up to the 40-yard line of the Hubs. Well, they took a gamble, and it did not pay off.
29 yards on that completion.
And that is a big first down, 30 seconds remaining, and no matter what the case, the reason that being a big first down, they got it on third down, and they keep the drive alive. And now to give to Cobaugh, who has running room, and Cobaugh another first down inside the 30.
To the 29.
Well, that'll be the final play of the third period. We've played 3 here at Dutch Country Stadium. The Elkers out in front by a score of 15-13. We'll be back after this.
Quick Stop Market, AML Championship Game, Quick Fact.
This is the second game to be played in St. Mary's. Emporium and Bradford have also hosted 2 games. Smethport and Ridgway hosted the other 2 games.
And back here at Dutch Country Stadium, the Smethport Hubbards and the Ridgway Elkers here in the AML Championship. We head to the 4th. The Elkers lead it by a score of 15-13. They have a 1st and 10 inside the Smethport 30-yard line. A game of big plays, and that big reception by Rakowski from Plaster, big on 3rd and 20.
Yeah, 29 yards on the gain, and it looked like they had Plaster back there, but he's had a lot of time to throw the ball when he's wanted to. He's 2 for 3 for 80 yards. One of those a 51-yard strike to Williamson.
And so now we get set for the final 12 minutes. The Elkers running into a blustery wind on first down. Marshall in motion to the left. Here comes Williamson, his first carry of the quarter, and Williamson will be brought down at the 25-yard line. Well, I think we're going to see a lot of Mr. Williamson. And here really now for the Elkers leading by 2 with 11:42 remaining. Boy, a game of inches, Barry. Got to go back to the field goal attempt. Orlandi off the crossbar.
Yes. And, too, it's got to be going through Smethport. We can't let them into the end zone. The field goal won't beat us, right? But a touchdown would really put the hammer to them at this time.
It would be so crucial, the point after, if they would get in. Williamson here on second down, met there by Cosper, and he'll get a couple. Going to bring up 3rd and 3. And going into the win, got to believe that the Elkers looking at this as a 2-down situation on 3rd and 4, the long 4, a couple downs to play with.
Right, the Elkers 2 of 5 on 3rd down tonight, and that's pretty decent. That's 40%, and this is a big one here.
Bill McDonald, the center, leads the Elkers up to the line. 3rd and a long 4 from the 25-yard line of Smethport. And Plaster keeps the football. Plaster inside the 20 for a first down, I think.
Maybe. It all depends where that's spotted at. If he's... Boy, that's going to be real close. It would look from here like he has it, but once again, we're on that hump, and it's hard to say.
And they are going to measure 10:25 remaining. And
that was a nice pickup by Plaster. You got to give that kid credit because everybody in the place expected Williamson to get the ball.
And we'll measure 10:25 remaining in the game, and it is going to be a first down for the Elkers. No team has ever lost 2 straight AML championship games. Ridgway certainly not wanting to be the first, and right now they lead this game 15-13 with 10:25 remaining. And they have a first down. Advantage Elkers. 10:24 remaining in the ball game. 15-13. Ridgway leads it. 1st and 10, and we are going to call it, the 17-yard line, maybe?
Yeah, 17 or 18. 10:13 to go. Elkers lead it. 15-13.
On first down, it's Williamson, and Williamson breaks into the secondary down to the 13-yard line. Going to bring up second down. It's a game of big plays again, as we said. Williamson, a 31-yard field goal. Then it was a 95-yard kickoff return by Carter. Then an 80-something yard fumble recovery by Williamson. Then a 51-yard pass from Plaster to Williamson. Then the 71-yard run by Carter. And Bunning coming off the field for the Hubbards.
Matt Eck come in to replace him.
9:33 remaining. 2nd and 5. In motion, Marshall to the left. And the Hubs defensively, it's Williamson with the football inside the 10. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Elkers, I think.
Didn't get out of bounds, so the clock will keep on running. Yeah, that's the 1st down.
1st and goal for Ridgway, 9:17 remaining.
So he got down, it looks to about the 3.
Well, if the Elkers get into the end zone, that would make it 21-13, and the point after would be the big play. And again, we would play overtime here in the championship game. Winner moves on to meet CL. 1st and goal for the Elkers. And they give us to Williamson. Flags everywhere. Williamson will score the touchdown. We'll see what the flag is. We'll see the flag. I think it's going to go against the Elkers. The flag sits back in their backfield, and that will be the case. And so instead of being 1st and goal from the 4, it's going to be 1st and goal from the 9.
Delay a game.
Another one on the Elkers as we are down to 9 minutes, and even 9 minutes remaining here in this contest.
That'll move the ball back to about the 8 or the 9.
Boy, I'll tell you what, this just has been a rock'em sock'em affair. Everybody lining that end zone down there in the far end. The crowd moving along with the action and just lined with fans down there. Quite a ball game. 15-13 our score. And the Ridgway Elkers face with a 1st and goal from the 9. 9 minutes remaining. Ridgway has 2 timeouts left. The Hubs, I think, with all 3, Barry.
Yes.
And on 1st and goal from the 9 now. Plaster, the quarterback. They give it to Williamson. Williamson inside the 5. Going to bring up 2nd and goal.
Boy, he gets down to about the 3.
So the Ridgway Elkers, I think a lot of folks felt Ridgway really, in a way, might be able to push around the Hubs a bit. And right now they're faced with 2nd and goal from the 4. Smethport has to rise to the occasion, whereas a Ridgway touchdown would be huge. 8:25 remaining. And the give to Williamson, brought down by Cosper, tripped him up.
Nice play by Cosper. He was in the backfield almost before the handoff, and the ball stayed right at the 4.
3rd and goal now from the 4. The clock ticking, 8:06 remaining.
Ridgway 3 of 6 on 3rd down tonight.
7:57 and the clock ticking. And
Ridgway's going to take their 2nd time out.
We'll take one, too. The Elkers lead at 15-13. We'll be back after this. And back here at Dutch Country Stadium, the Ridgway Elkers now faced with 3rd and goal from the 4. 7:55 remaining. The Elkers with 1 timeout remaining. And the wind just swirling around. It's kind of blowing right into the face of the Elkers. 7:55 on the scoreboard clock here at Dutch Country Stadium. The snow continuing. 15-13. Ridgway looking to add to the lead. 3rd and goal from the 4. Snow picking up. In motion is Cobaugh to the right. On 3rd down, Plaster to Williamson. And no. It's going to bring up 4th and goal. 4th and goal.
Boy, I'll tell you, that's got to be close, too.
4th and less than a yard, and I think the Elkers going to go for it. They lead the game, and so the clock down to 7:32. Elkers lead it. Here we go, 4th down, and here comes the Elkers to the line. McDonald leads them there. Bunting is back into the game. 4th and goal from the 1 for the Elkers. Plaster kept it on the last 4th down play. In motion is an Elker to the right. And somebody moved in. That's a big, big penalty. It's going to be on the Elkers.
It's got to be.
One of the linemen took off a bit too quick, I do think, and now we may see Williamson go for the field goal, although a touchdown would still beat you. There's the procedure call, and that is a biggie.
Boy, I'll tell you.
That is a biggie on the Elkers. That is one that Coach Benasudi's got to be just flipping over.
Yep, and that'll move the ball back to the
Very, gotta say to who's ever defense, as they are bringing out the kicking shoe, it's very loud. Got to be very loud down there. You can see all that crowd jump down there, predominantly Hubbard fans. And so Williamson on to kick. Plaster to hold. Remember, he's the quarterback. That's hard to forget. You looking for the big fake?
I don't know, because if they make it, they got to kick off. This way, the Hubs would have to drive 90-some yards.
Yeah, well, they would take over at the 20. And the kick is good. No good.
It looked wide to the right.
It is wide to the right. It was had all the leg he needed, but it's no good. So the Hubbards dodge a bullet, and Smethport will come out of there with a football at the 20-yard line. So really, let's just let it go. But the Hubs now will really have better field position at the 20 instead of being penned up back there at the 6.
And you know Carter's just a step away anytime he touches the ball. But the Hubs are going to get at least one more shot. Got to be careful here. 6:46 to go. Ridgway Elkers still in control. 15-13.
Yes. And Hubs with all 3 timeouts. Dramatics here in St. Mary's on a snowy Saturday night. Woodruff to Carter. And Carter will get a couple steps up over about to the 22 maybe. It's going to bring up second down. The Hubs with all 3 timeouts. What a ball game. 6:29 and the clock ticking. We're going to call it 2nd and 9. Sophomore quarterback Ryan Woodruff.
The Hubs got to move the ball out here. And Ridgway, on the other hand, wants to play great defense because they'd like to keep the Hubs pinned right back there, so they're going to get the ball inside the 50.
And a punt will always put them back that much further. And so on 2nd down, Carter in motion to the right. Woodruff back to pass, looks, throws, batted down by Waldo.
Yep, and the big guy wrapped that one.
And so it's going to bring up 3rd down now for the Hubbards. The incomplete pass will stop the clock. So the Hubbards really, if they do not pick this up, are going to be forced to punt, and that's going to be the right thing to do. They do have 3 timeouts remaining. 15-13. Ridgway leads it. Joey Orlandi, 26-yard field goal, just went off the crossbar. However, I think if he'd have made that, we'd have probably seen a whole different scenario in this game.
Yeah.
6:02 remaining, 3rd down. Woodruff, the quarterback, back to pass, throws, and it's through the hands of a couple players. And it's going to bring up 4th down. It was intended for Baker, but into some traffic. 4th down, that'll stop the clock. So Smethport's defense, again, is going to have to rise to the occasion. 5:57 remaining. McGowan, who has punted, has really not done a great job at it.
But I'll tell you what, too. I saw the first time he punted. Everybody's playing punt. That kid is a quarterback and is capable of throwing the ball.
Here we go on 4th down, the snap. And the kick. And he gets off a line drive kick that is going to bounce and be fielded by the Elkers, and he went to his knee, did Brigger. Elkers will take over 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line, their own 45-yard line, running into the snow. They lead 15-13. 5:51 remaining. Smethport with 3 timeouts. All of them remain, so I think really you got to hold them 3 and out. 3 and out or get a turnover. If you're the Hubbards. For Ridgway, a couple 1st downs, and you could be looking at your first
dangerous here, because if you go after the ball and you miss somebody, they're gone.
1st down for Ridgway from their own 48, and Williamson to perhaps the 50. It's going to bring up 2nd down.
Boy, that kid's strong. He gets right up to the 45. Give him 1.
And an injured player, and it is a Ridgway Elker that is down with 5:19 remaining in the game.
That looks like Williamson, I think.
15-13, the Ridgway Elkers lead it, and I think it is Williamson again. And remember, he came up a little lame after the touchdown pass.
Acted almost like cramps the way he was pulling on his feet and what have you. But we're down to 5:19 to go in the ball game. The Elkers looking to win this one. They lead the Hubs 15-13, and what an accomplishment for either team to win this game, because neither team was picked by a lot of people to be here tonight. But they put on one heck of a show,
Yes,
Bob.
they
and
have.
This has been one of the better AML games I've watched.
And, of course, waiting in the wings for the winner, the Clarion Limestone Lions, are they?
Yep, and most of them here tonight,
Yeah.
along with assistant coach Jim Williamson from Kane.
Right up there in the front row. So the Elkers now, it is Williamson that's injured out there, and I think we can get a 30 in. Let's take a 30-second break. The score 15-13, Ridgway out in front with 5:19 remaining. We'll be back after this.
Zook Motors, 68 years of service and proud of it.
And back here at Dutch Country Stadium, Williamson hobbles off the field a second time. What a game he has had tonight.
76 yards, couple touchdowns, a
deep
field goal.
Yeah.
The kid can do it all.
5:13 remaining, and now with Williamson out of the backfield, we'll see if that leads to any problems. 5 minutes now to go in the game. And Plaster keeps the football. Plaster will get close to another first down inside the 50. I think he may be just short.
Boy, that looks like a generous spot.
A real generous
real
spot.
good spot.
And that may be the first down now. As they will have another measurement, I do believe. No, they're actually going to move it back a little bit, I think. Yeah.
They're going to measure. That would give him 5, 6, 7, about 9 yards on that carry.
And so this is a big measurement here. Plaster, a big run. And so he is going to be short. I think. Yeah, just short. It's going to bring up third down. This is a big one. Here we go again for the Hubbers defensively. Third and less than a yard. And Williamson, is he back in yet? Looking around out there.
He's right here.
Yeah. Walking up the sideline. Snow picking up a bit. It could be a little bit nasty on the way home.
Yes, it could.
4:40 remaining in the game. 15-13. Ridgway leads it in a driving snow, driving right into him.
Last time they went off a real quick count. Plaster with the sneak.
Third down, less than a yard to go for the Elkers. And on third down, and Kobaugh is going to get the first down. So now Smethport may be forced to use some timeouts as he gets to the 45-yard line.
Needed 2, got him, and the Elkers now 4 of 8 on third down, and that's been a real telling statistic here in the second half.
And the clock ticks down to 4:20 remaining in this ball game. Smethport hovers, Ridgway Elkers. The Elkers out in front, 15-13. Hubbard's had a first and goal inside the 5, a fumble that led to a Williamson touchdown. Here we go. First down, 4 minutes to play in the game. Kobaugh, and Kobaugh for 3, 4 yards. It's going to bring up second and 6, 3:55 remaining.
Rifle with the hit there.
The Ridgway Elkers looking to earn another berth to a district championship. They were the District 9 champs back in 1989.
In a game we did.
Yeah.
Gary Weber with the big field goal to beat Johnsburg 3-0.
Yeah. 3:30 remaining, and they may get another delay here if they don't hurry. 3:25 remaining. Second down and 7, and the give is to Dustin Marshall over the 40. It's going to bring up third down. And the clock ticks down to 3:13. And right now, this really could be your ball game here, this third down play. Hubs will have the wind at their back if they can get the football back. That is the big thing for the Elkers right now offensively. Eat the clock, move the ball, another first down, and they'll be looking pretty good, Barry.
Yes, they sure will.
Down to 2:50 remaining. Third down and 5 for Ridgway. And on third down, in motion is Marshall to the right. Plaster keeps the football. Plaster, we'll see where they mark it. I think he's going to be short. Real close, though.
No, he's got it by a long way.
Where he ended up.
He's inside.
Yeah.
They gave him under the 33.
Well, that could be it. 2:35 remaining now. Plaster with another big play. And the Ridgway Elkers could well be on their way to their first ever AML championship. Third time the charm, perhaps, for Ridgway. And so, 2:35 remains. And now Williamson again. One never does know. It'll be Williamson with the football, and he won't get the first down. He'll be brought down and won't go down. A couple Hubbers grab onto him, and so we're down to 2:05, and the clock running. I think Smethport now will get the timeout called, and 2:02 remains, and we'll be back after this. And you can hear that wind whipping around the crowd, Mike, out there. We have a fourth down now for the Elkers. The clock stopped, 2:02 remaining in the ball game. The Smethport Hubbers going to get the football back. Perhaps. The Elkers have Neil Wright back the punt. He's back at the 40-yard line by the time he gets it off. Snap and the kick. And the kick is going to be one that is going to be bouncing around, and it'll go out of bounds at about the 20. So 1:54 remaining in the ball game. The Hubbers, with no timeout, trail by 2. And Orlandi, I think, we do have the wind at your back. You might be able to get a 30-yarder or so if indeed you do that. But without that timeout, everything's going to be kind of hurry up and scramble. But I think you said it best when you said all Carter has to do is break one.
Yep, and he's just like Williamson. Anytime he touches the ball, watch out.
So another game going to come down to a stand here for the Elkers. 1st and 10 for Ridgway for Smethport at their own 20. Woodruff back to pass, throws, and it's intercepted by Bledsoe. And that is going to be the game. Bledsoe inside the 20, and the Ridgway Elkers, as a flag comes in late, the Elkers can just sit on the football.
Boy, what a play there. Nice interception. The kid held his ground, grabbed the ball. Ridgway going to win this one. But Ridgway got a personal foul. I believe there was a real hit there that you don't need to see. But
pass intended for Carter. Bledsoe comes up with the interception. And the Ridgway Elkers just have to hold on to the football, Barry Morgan.
Yep, and they'll have it at the 30-yard line at the Smethport 30. And all they virtually have to do is hang on to the ball. And, there's going to be 11 kids in white uniforms going after it. But give Ridgway credit. They came up big every time tonight when they had to. They fought off their mistakes, and they played well. And they're leading right now, 15-13.
Williamson back at the 50-yard line just in case. Smethport, no timeouts. Plaster will go to a knee. And the Ridgway Elkers are going to be the AML champs as they come from just about nowhere. Benesudi early in the season, before the season even started, said that it could be a tough one. Didn't have a whole lot of experience back. We'll look to go down on the field and get some comments from them, perhaps from Carl as well, but they're going to be counting down things here. We're down to 58 seconds. The Elkers do lead it by a score of 15-13. The fans starting to whoop it up, if you will. And I think, Barry, I'm going to start heading my way down there, maybe get a couple comments from Carl or Benny or what have you. I'll see what I can round up.
All right, so about wrap up the Allegheny Mountain League Championship this year. It's going to go to the Ridgway Elkers. We're down to about 30 seconds to go in the game. Shane Williamson, the man tonight. The kid did just about everything but sell tickets. And what a game Shane Williamson played. All the Ridgway Elkers, as a matter of fact. And they are going to be AML champions for 1993 as Plaster goes down to his knee one last time. And the clock's ticking. We're down to 10. And it's just going to run out here on the Smethport Hubbard. So the final here in St. Mary's, Allegheny Mountain League Championship 1993 goes to the Ridgway Elkers. They defeat the Smethport Hubbard by a score of 15-13. And Mike will take about a 3-minute break. and we'll be back with the Pat Hughes State Farm post-game show. All right, and back here in Ridgway, or St. Mary's, the final once again, the Ridgway Elkers 15, Smethport Hubbard 13, and Ridgway, with just a great season, they pick up their 8th win here tonight. They're now 8-2. They'll go on to the District 9 final, where they'll meet Clarion Limestone next Saturday night in DuBois, and we'll remind you that you are listening to the Pat Hughes State Farm post-game show. Pat with an office over in Smethport. His phone number 88. Your good neighbor, and Pat Hughes, just a great sponsor of the post-game show here on WLMI tonight for the Ridgway Elkers. On the game, 138 yards on the ground. Shane Williamson with 76 of those. Jason Plaster, 2 of 3 for 80 yards. So give the Elkers 218 yards in total offense in the game. Williamson with all 3 scores. A 31-yard field goal with 6:52 to go in the first quarter made it 3-0. Then Williamson with a huge fumble recovery with 1:16 to go before the half ended. He actually looked like he stripped the ball from Ryan Woodruff, took it about 84 yards. That put the Elkers up 9-6. And then Shane with a 51-yard pass reception for a touchdown with 4:10 to go in the third quarter. At that time, put the Elkers up 15-6. Ridgway fumbled the ball 4 times tonight, lost it all 4 times, but they were big in that second half on third down. They ended up 4 for 9 on the game, but they picked up 4 in a row right when they needed them. And the difference in the ball game tonight, just big plays, and it seemed like whoever had the ball last was the team that was going to win it. Smethport with an interception at the end. Ridgway got that interception, a nice play by Jason Brigger, and that sealed the fate of the Smethport Hubbers and makes the Ridgway Elkers the 1993 Allegheny Mountain League champs. For the Hubs, 135 yards on the ground. Jason Carter with 124 of those. Ryan Woodruff through the air, 3 of 9 for 36 yards to give the Hubs 171 yards in offense for the game. Jason Carter both touchdowns, an electrifying 95-yard kickoff return with 6:24 to go in the first quarter. Put the Hubs up 6-3 at that point, and then when they were down 15-6, Jason again with just a beautiful 71-yard run for a touchdown. That made it 15-13 at the time. Ridgway hangs on, picks up the victory in just a hard-fought ball game here at St. Mary's Flying Dutch Stadium. The weather conditions really didn't seem to hamper anybody at all. Carter with 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. Shane Williamson with a field goal and 2 scores. So both those kids, I think, the premier running backs in the Big 30 this year. However, Ridgway going to go on. They're going to play Clarion Limestone next Saturday night down at DuBois. Kickoff at 7 o'clock, and we'll have that game for you as well. That should be a dandy. Bob has been down on the field gathering up some interviews, and we'll remind you that the Pat Hughes State Farm post-game show will continue in 60 seconds.
Before we join Barry back in St. Mary's, we have a couple of scores. Clarion Limestone defeated Union 21-6, and with 11 minutes remaining in the game, we have Eisenhower over Linesville 12-8. Now back to Barry.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike, back at Studio B. And, well, I had an opportunity. I'll tell you what, Barry, I am cold. It's a mess down there on the field, cold-wise. Field really wasn't in too bad of condition considering the ball game here tonight, but it's real frosty down there. I'll tell you what, got to give anybody credit for playing football on a night like this.
Oh, boy, it's just super. And we'll remind you, you are listening to the Pat Hughes State Farm post-game show here live from Dutch Country Stadium in St. Mary's. For all your life insurance, car insurance, house insurance, give Pat a call to number 8.
All right, I had a chance to talk with both head coaches down on the field. This could be a little tough, but we'll roll with it here. Talked with Carl first, and I talked with Benasuti, and I'll roll it from here.
A game of inches, a field goal maybe, but who knows? Just some thoughts. Well, you know, the one field goal bounced off the goalpost for us, and we had a touchdown called back, just about a touchdown called back, and then we're going in, we had a guy wide open, and Williamson hit Woodruff's hand there right before the half, and they got 6 that way. So I don't think the football gods smiled on us too much tonight, but that's the way it goes. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. It was a well-lived game.
You know, you look back at a game like this, and so you're not AML winners this year, but you guys did have one heck of a ride again, Carl.
Yeah, we had a great year, and I really feel sorry for Ryan. He was under an awful lot of pressure tonight, but you know, a couple bounces here and there, and, you know, I forgot about the field goal that bounced off the goalpost. I'm just looking. We win this thing 16-15. So, you know, kicking's important, and it came down to that field goal.
You guys true champs, too. You guys watched Ridgway take that AML plaque, too.
Well, yeah, you know, they're the winners, and we congratulate them, and, you know, it was a heck of a game, and Ridgway played hard, and Williamson, you know, hurt us a couple of times, and it was a great game. And I wish them all the luck next week in district.
All right. Hey, thanks much, Carl, for your help throughout the season.
Oh, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right. Benny, third time the charm for you.
Yeah, kids played great. The kids just played absolutely great. They scored on some long plays, and we scored on some long plays. I thought we were going to be in trouble down here, though, when, you know, we were first and third and goal, fourth and goal. We jumped off sides, put us back out of the way. But the kids they rose to the occasion and just did a terrific job.
You know, a few months back, we're back in August, and you're like, boy, this could be a tough year. I don't have a whole lot of experience back here. And you told us on the program the other day, great senior leadership. You guys pulled together, and you're AML champ.
Our kids just did a fantastic job. You know, they worked so hard to be where they're at right now, and I'm just so proud of the kids, the fans that came out to support us, and it's just, you know, great.
Great ball game too for under these conditions. I mean, these kids, you got to give them credit, both teams sticking this out.
Yeah, it was bad weather conditions. The field's not in bad shape though, you know, but both teams had their chances or made their mistakes. You know, we fumbled the ball, they get it, and the very next play they fumbled the ball, we get it back. They scored on a long pass, picked the fumble up, ran in for a touchdown. So you know, I thought in the second half we moved the ball a lot better than we did in the first half. Like I said, we were just disappointed. We had too many penalties again, lining up offsides, motion penalties. So, you know, those are things we got to do. Shouldn't be making those mistakes now. But we did, and, you know, our kids rose above that and come out on top.
We'll let you go get warm. We'll talk about next week's game later next week. We'll let you enjoy this one. Thanks, Benny.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Head coach Benny Benasuti of the Ridgway Elkers. A happy batch of Elkers and their fans down there. And the Hubs, I got to tell you, class act there, Barry Morgan. All the Hub players took the time to watch Ridgway be presented that plaque. Hey, they've got it 3 times the last 5 years, but it's Ridgway's night tonight, 15-13. Ridgway Elkers, the Allegheny Mountain League champions. Great ball game.
Oh, it was just a super game. It was a game of huge plays. You know, that's all you can say. It was a great ball game, and Shane Williamson showed why he's so good. Jason Carter showed why he's so good. And it's nice that the kids can showcase that talent locally before they go on to the playoffs. And it's just a super matchup, but give the Ridgway Elkers credit. They did it tonight.
Yes, indeed. So the Elkers are the champs of the Allegheny Mountain League, and I guess that's all we can pretty much say, 15-13. The final, I guess I'll hang on the horn here a moment, Mike, and we can take care of the things back there at Studio B. But Ridgway, the AML champs, with the victory over the Hubbers by a score of 15-13. Ridgway next week meets the Clarion Limestone Lions in the D9 Class A Championship. For Barry, I'm Bob. It's been a pleasure. Again, Ridgway the winner, 15-13.